Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you're building an e-commerce empire in 2026, you already know the deal. Your B2B marketplace literally dictates your profit margins, your supply chain stability, and frankly, your sanity. Today, we're jumping right in to break down the undisputed heavyweights, Alibaba versus DHgate. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly which platform aligns perfectly with your specific sourcing strategy, and more importantly, how to avoid those hidden traps that catch so many early-stage buyers completely off guard. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our structural roadmap for today. We'll start with number 1, meet the sourcing giants. Number 2, comparing core platform differences. 3, navigating safety and IP. 4, the sourcing agent alternative. And finally, number 5, choosing your ideal route. Think of this as a strategic matchmaking exercise for your exact business needs.
Section 1, meet the sourcing giants. Because before we look at all the complex workflows and pricing structures, we really need to define what these platforms actually are in reality.
The contrast between the two is just stark. Think of Alibaba as the massive, heavy machinery factory floor of the world. Its core model is factory direct, bulk wholesale. DHgate, on the other hand, is much more like your neighborhood off-the-shelf wholesale supermarket. It's like building your house entirely from scratch versus buying a pre-assembled shed. On Alibaba, you're dealing with actual manufacturers and massive trading companies. But on DHgate, you're almost always dealing with small wholesalers, distributors, or other middlemen.
Now, these definitions fundamentally change your entire buying experience. Alibaba is the undisputed king of OEM and ODM. That's original equipment manufacturing and original design manufacturing. This means they connect you straight to Tier 1 manufacturers who have the actual infrastructure to build a product from scratch, tool, custom molds, and print your private label. DHgate operates on micro-wholesale. They connect you to distributors who are holding existing inventory. You aren't creating a custom product there, you're simply purchasing what is already sitting boxed up on a warehouse shelf.
Section 2, comparing core platform differences. Now we're going to drill down into the crucial numbers that absolutely make or break your early-stage cash flow.
And this brilliantly illustrates why minimum order quantity, or MOQ, is the ultimate deciding factor for your inventory planning. True factories on Alibaba require massive runs. We're talking 500 to 1,000 plus units just to get your foot in the door. Why? Because they literally have to calibrate massive production lines and source raw materials just to make your specific order profitable. DHgate, however, offers incredibly low MOQs, often just 1 to 50 units, because those sellers are simply dropping their existing stock into a box and shipping it right out to you.
1,000. Just to put that into perspective, when you see a 1,000 unit requirement, you aren't just buying a few products to test out. You are parking $5,000 to $10,000 of your hard-earned capital in a warehouse before you've made a single sale. It requires absolute, ironclad confidence in your market.
But hold on, what about the price tag? Alibaba frequently advertises these jaw-droppingly low per-unit costs, but you have to know that pricing is heavily tiered. That dollar a unit price usually only applies if you're buying tens of thousands of units at once, and it entirely excludes bulk ocean freight and customs duties. DHgate lists a higher retail-style price, but they often include standardized, sometimes even free, express shipping right in that listing. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is your total landed cost. Comparing raw unit prices on a screen is a dangerous illusion if you forget to factor in shipping, duties, and the middleman's margins.
Section 3, navigating safety and IP. Let's shift our focus to risk mitigation and talk about the things that will destroy your business way faster than high shipping costs. Now, what's really interesting about this setup is how massive the difference in risk mitigation actually is. Alibaba invests millions into enterprise-grade verification. They use trade assurance to hold your funds in escrow until the goods arrive exactly as contracted. They even hire third-party global agencies like SGS to physically walk the factory floor and audit the supplier. DHgate, by comparison, uses a standard escrow service, meaning they release funds upon delivery, but it relies almost entirely on a basic consumer-style review system. Because DHgate suppliers are often huge trading networks, trying to track down the root source of a manufacturing defect can become a major headache. Intellectual property is another absolutely critical factor to consider. As objective consultants here, we have to look at the reality of the market. Alibaba strictly polices counterfeit goods. Major global brands actively monitor the site to protect their trademarks, making replicas quite rare. DHgate, historically, has struggled much more with sellers offering gray market goods or replicas. We neutrally advise extreme caution here. Purchasing IP-infringing products on unpoliced platforms can swiftly lead to your goods being seized and completely destroyed by customs right at the border. Section 4. The sourcing agent alternative. Because sometimes, having access to millions of generic products just isn't enough for complex importing.
Think about it for a second. So what actually happens when generic platforms aren't enough? If you are sourcing heavy, highly regulated, or complex product categories, generic platforms will connect you to a supplier, sure, but they do absolutely nothing to manage your actual supply chain. You can quickly run into massive communication barriers, inconsistent raw materials, and an absolute nightmare trying to coordinate the shipping.
And this is exactly where specialized sourcing agents step in to solve those nightmares. First, they bring deep industry expertise. They know exactly which specific factory clusters produce the best materials for your exact niche. Second, they offer highly personalized quality control. We're talking teams that perform on-site pre-shipment inspections to guarantee your specific standards are met before the container is ever loaded. And finally, shipping consolidation. A good agent can bundle products from 5 completely separate factories into one single shipping container, drastically slashing your ocean freight costs. That is a logistical feat automated platforms simply cannot provide.
Section 5. Choosing your ideal route. Let's see how this all builds into a personalized decision matrix to prevent you from wasting valuable time and capital.
Route number 1. If you are a startup seller or a dropshipper, DHgate is your starting point. Being able to buy just 10 units of a highly trending item and have it shipped rapidly via air courier allows you to test market demand instantly. You get rapid market validation with minimal financial exposure.
Route number 2. If you're an e-commerce brand looking to build a private label, Alibaba is absolutely mandatory. To build a sustainable, defensible brand today, you require custom retail packaging, strict quality control, and the factory-direct margins that only true manufacturers can offer. You simply cannot build a long-term brand buying off-the-shelf distributor stock.
And finally, route number 3. For importers of complex or heavy goods, partnering with specialized sourcing agents is your absolute best bet. Bypassing the generic digital platforms entirely ensures you have strict regulatory compliance, hard-nosed negotiation, and expert ground-level logistics coordination working directly for you.
So, you now know the reality of MOQs, landed costs, and platform risks. The digital shelves of 2026 are unforgiving for amateurs. Look closely at your capital and your goals. Are you just testing the waters today, or are you ready to build the empire of tomorrow? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.